In my program, I bring the studio to the street and interact with everyday Nigerians, taking their worries, their concerns, their questions directly to the ears of their leaders. Senate President Bukola Saraki, Distinguished Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, His Excellency Nyesom Wike, Governor Okezie Victor Ikpeazu, the Executive Governor of Benue State, Samuel Ortom. We interrogate the policies and objectives of key stakeholders in the political and development sector to ensure that the impact trickles down to the poorest of the poor in our society.
These people where they have, most of them, their brain don't work.
But do you agree that there were accusations that you made during the campaign that were not necessarily founded?
Me?
Yes.
So what do they call the incident of October 2006?
No impeachment. They call it rascality.
Rascality.
My goal is to dig deep and find the truth, then give meaning, understanding, and solution to it.
Hello everyone and welcome to today's episode of the Osasu Show. On today's program, we go into the streets to bring you the voice of the people. Nigerians react to the DSS invasion of the National Assembly, the DSS illegal detainment of Jones Abiri and 50 other Niger Delta activists, the illegal detainment of Boko Haram suspects. The list goes on and on. So Nigerians will be giving you their perspective and also prefer solutions of how we can curtail this menace, growing menace in our society. This program or this episodes give me the most joy because I'm able to reflect the thoughts of everyday Nigerians, and I believe most of our viewers across the world also really appreciate hearing Nigerians speak about issues that concern all of us. And our hope is that we're able to come together and demand a solution, a lasting solution to these issues that we are facing as a people. So don't go anywhere, and we'll bring you that Vox Pop right after this short break.
If I may say, it's very pathetic because we have the three theater of governments. We have the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary. The legislature, which they are the National Assembly, they have their rights. The DSS to lay siege on the plenary is quite unacceptable. It's not fair. That is an infringement of on the rights of the citizen. The harmless legislature were there to deliberate on the issue that had to do with national development. And the DSS, they came and they did not allow them to go into their assembly to deliberate on the issue of the day. Even the non-legislative staff were also deprived the entrance to the hall. It's quite unfair. As a good Nigerian who thinks or means well to this country, I don't think that is right. And in a democratically setting in Nigeria, it's not fair. That is totally unacceptable. And I don't think that is fair in a country of Nigeria. We are talking about democracy. We are learning from America. So the America should be a watchword to everything we are operating here. We should behave like an American. We should learn from them, since we are all learning from America. There are certain things we should not just do just because of political interest.
Actually, in the respect of the DSS, well, even though they thought that they are doing their best according to the instruction given to them, because I don't believe that he is the one, the DSS director himself, can decide to do something like that. I believe there are a set of people that instruct him to do that, with not knowing that they will fail. Actually, the test has already been taken from the Senate, from the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. He has made a very good decision. There is no any decision that will be more than the one of the acting president for now.
What they did is right. He feels that nobody can stop him from what he's doing. You understand? So anytime they call him, National Assembly call him, he won't respond. Vice President call him, he didn't respond. So he thinks that he's above the Vice President. And he was mentioning something that Vice President cannot sack him. It's only President that can sack him because he's the one that give him the appointment. What they did was wrong for them to attack the National Assembly because they were begging them to come so that they will approve the election listing. On their way coming, they now block it. It's not right. This is the way that we can stop it for sacking him. If another person learn a lesson from there, he will not behave the way he behaved.
I feel so bad seeing that those Mr. President trusted and appointed to ensure that the security and protection of democracy is intact, and instead they become sabotage to the president, parleying with those who are distractors to Mr. President administration, parleying with those who want to see that election will not hold 2019. And the only way for them to do that is by parleying with the former DG DSS to stop the supplementary budget that the INEC was meant to use to fund the 2019 election. And I want to believe that their aim is to try to see that they stop the 2019 election, and which would not work. Putting an end to this is by saying that the president and commander-in-chief of armed forces checkmate all those he appointed in his kitchen cabinet and even those in his cabinet, because if there is proper check and balance, all this will have not happened.
The political terrain in the country is quite unfortunate that no proper understanding, dialogue between them in the house. You know, I don't want to sound religious here, but as a servant of God, I'm still in the office to decree a word. If we are to put it, my response to what they are doing is not really a good one, but I don't want to go into that. But I'm using this media to tell the entire Nigerians to come together and see how to talk to each other in a good voice, in one voice. Electing this one, electing the other one is not exactly what we are looking for. How we can stop that type of a thing not to happen in National Assembly is as a result of His Excellency, the present president now, President Muhammadu Buhari, to call them together and address them in one voice. I still maintain my point, one voice. The moment there is a deviation between you and I, there can't be peace. One voice, through the address of the president to the entire house, I believe they will come out with a good result at the end of the day.
Well, it's an infraction of the principle of separation of power. And I want to believe seriously that because of the hangover of the military rule, we've had that erroneous impression that the overbearing power of the presidency. There are times that, you know, the principle of check and balances have created the executive, judiciary, and legislative arm of government under presidential system of government. So one expects that one will be a check to the other. And the president in this, the executive arm headed by the president, and the DSS being an arm of the executive, you know, a subunit of the executive, is just the first among equals. I say first because the president takes the lead, but they are equals by ranking. But the executive does the execution, proposes, implements the finances. That's where people have direct contact. But doesn't mean that the executive, the judiciary, or what's it called, the legislative arm, they are subsumed or subsistent to the executive arm. They are first among equal, but they are equals. That's underlying something. So that hangover of that military rule, it's an infraction. It's influencing in the mandate and constitutionally defined responsibility of the legislative arm.
You know, in a democracy, you see a lot of things. In a state, you see it. But this is federal. We don't expect to see such. If not the protests that day with the civil societies, the press, and the bracketing of the National Assembly is illegal. And thank God for the government of that day. And that is how it's supposed to be, because the government that day took a right decision and at the right time. And you know, after some agitations from the civil society, the press, you see that the president called off the DSS director, and he was sacked. And I give kudos to the president that day, because it's a good direction. That's how a president have to act. When an emergency comes like this, you take emergency actions, and that's why you are #1 citizen. That's why you are there, a chief commander of the security, a chief commander of the people. That's why we voted you. That's why our hope, our trust, we depend on you, and we know that you will not fail us. That's why we tell you to represent us as a president. It's just opportunity, not by right. But since you find yourself there, do the right thing. Osubanjo that day is our acting president. He did the right thing. He did the right thing. I must commend him. Kudos to him. That is how he is supposed to be. But it's a very bad omen. I must say that it's a very bad omen, and it's not good at all. Because it's our strength. Legislature is our strength. Legislature is the strength of democracy. Without legislature, there will be no democracy.
I know that issue borders one on the integrity of Nigeria and the internal security of Nigeria. So it's not something we should just dabble into and just take with kid gloves. So the presidency, every other person is handling the matter. So why not let them settle the issue and they resolve it? The appropriate quarters are handling the issue. So you let them, don't let us put the horse before the cat. I mean the cat before the horse, I mean. So let them solve the issue.
The level of DSS invading the National Assembly, it is something every right-thinking person should condemn. It's not right. Sticking to the tenets, the norms, the good practices all over the world is that you stick to your constitution. The rule of law should be followed. The due process should be followed. And once you are considering that, then the society will be a better place for all of us, and not, one doing something outside your powers and without due process and, due consideration for higher authorities.
The aspect of security is something that is very, very important. And whatever action that the security agency have to make, it is based on national security that determine peace, unity and stability of this country. So no body can actually tell you what was their reason behind their stand at the National Assembly that day. So it is subject of explanation, and for the DSS to explain to Nigerians why they did that and what was the purpose of them standing at the National Assembly. Because the National Assembly, it is like the heart of the nation. And we believe that the DSS do not go there to harm anybody at the National Assembly. Whatever they must have done is based on national security that reflect peace. There was no gunshot, there was no fight. It was just a stand, don't go in. So it is for Nigerians to ask them why you do go to the National Assembly and block the gate, and what was the reason and purpose why that was done. But it is not issue of agitation saying that they are wrong or not. These are our security. Their duty is to protect life and property, not to destroy the dignity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
I think that arrangement was just gimmicked by the Senate to draw sympathy from the international community. You know, that is just my own. The DSS, there was no need for them to go to the National Assembly because they have the right to sit anytime they want to sit. But if you ask me again, why were they in the National Assembly by 6 o'clock? They don't meet by 6 o'clock, normally by 10. So they went there and arranged this security thing so that they draw sympathy from the international community. That's my take on it, on that. It's very simple. If the laws of the land are followed, if they enforce the laws of this country, these things will stop. For instance, the Vice President has taken a very good step by sacking the DSS director because he didn't take instruction. In such cases, you are supposed to take instruction from the President or who hired you. But he just did it on his own, maybe in sympathy to a certain group of persons. That he was not supposed to do that. That is very wrong. It's undemocratic.
That siege is undemocratic, no matter how we look at it, irrespective of who gave the order, who gave the instruction, and also the agency that took that decision. The Nigerian DSS can be likened to the FBI in America. So for such a very important agency to come and besiege a whole arm of government. See, in all democracies worldwide, whether it's the parliamentary system or the presidential system, one arm does not have to stop the other arm from carrying out its duties. So, the National Assembly is the symbol of democracy. In Nigeria, under the military rule, you have the executive, you have the judiciary. Under any kind of rule, you have them. But the only thing that makes us know we are practicing democracy is the legislature, which is the National Assembly. For them to have besieged National Assembly is uncalled for. It's crude, it's undemocratic, it cannot be accepted.
It's quite unfortunate, very unfortunate for the DSS to do what they did in the National Assembly. Like it's a threat on our democracy, and I think such shouldn't happen again. The Nigerian government have to wake up. I and every other person, every other Nigerian have to stand still to make sure that yes, we won't give some persons or some politicians way to overthrow democracy. It's not allowed in Nigeria.
Well, the DSS stage on the National Assembly, I think is not too, I would say it's not okay, because of the fact that the National Assembly itself has, like the legislative body of Nigeria, it's supposed to be independent on their own to some extent. The interference has to be less, you understand? So to me, I think it's not appropriate. The National Assembly, as long as I'm concerned, they are the one that makes law for the country. And any law they make, whether it is, I know it will be beneficial to Nigeria, whereby it is not beneficial, then there should be interference. But for the DSS to just intrude on the National Assembly in that way, I think it's not appropriate. I think it's not appropriate. The National Assembly itself should be independent to some extent. Just like the independence of the judiciary, you know. The judiciary should be independent on its own, but we find out that the judiciary itself is not completely independent. So the interference is what we want to stop. Let it stop. Let there be minimal interference, even in the National Assembly. You know, the National Assembly is like, it's a watchdog on its own. It's a watchdog, you know. The only solution to this, I think, is let there be a law that can curb the excesses of some of these bodies.
Well, I think about the DSS siege on the National Assembly, there must have been misinformation somewhere along the line that made the service to go there. However, I think steps taken by government so far to address it is in the right direction. And I want to say that this is not the first time it's happening. So I think government is addressing it squarely. Well, I think what the acting president is doing so far is a step in the right direction. And so I think that should be, after the proper investigation is carried out and addressed as it ought to be, I'm sure next time it won't happen again.
Well, you've heard it here, the voice of the people. I'm very encouraged by Nigerians who are speaking out against the possible truncation of our democracy. As I said in the past 2 episodes, it's up to us as citizens to fight for what we believe in, to fight for the sustenance of this democracy that we enjoy today. But moving on, we're going to show you highlights of the Osasu Show Foundation. Tomorrow, August 25th, so happens to be the day I was born. So I will show you some of the things I'm passionate about, which has to do with giving back to society and helping alleviate the burden of poverty in their lives. So take a look at that. And next week, we'll bring you highlights of the Osasu Show Foundation Gala, which is a very close-knit event, but we're raising money also for charity to help send children to school and empower women with startup capital to begin small to medium scale businesses. Don't forget to follow us on social media at The Osasu Show, at TOS TV Network, at The Osasu Show Foundation, at Osasu Igbinedion on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. Visit our website for news on current affairs and sustainable development across Africa. God bless you.
The Osasu Show Foundation is driven by certain core beliefs and values. Education is one of them. It is the only way to empower the children. They are our progeny. A child who thirsts for education and knowledge but does not receive it is a heartbreaking loss to our future. But a community of children who cannot access education foretells a future we cannot accept. So we do what we can to avoid this fate. The impact of a little support, not just for aid and supplies alone, but for structure and financial independence, can have groundbreaking effects in bringing hope and revival to a community. These people are not just numbers and statistics to the Osasu Show Foundation. They are beautiful beating hearts that dream, that hurt, that hope, just like everyone else. The only difference is that they are plagued by a lack which cuts deeper than ours in ways that is so hard to comprehend.
My name is Kausar Mukhtar. The name of my school is Ajara Ahmed International College. I'm in SS1B. I want to become a journalist in future, and I want to thank Madam Osasu for paying my school fees, and I pray God will continue to bless her and God will protect her and God will give her more money to sponsor us. Thank you very much.
We're grateful to Osasu Show Foundation. God bless you.
I believe that I'm unstoppable. I believe I've only just begun.
I'm 17 years old. I'm in SS1. I'm a student of Government Science Secondary School, Kaduna State. I just received a scholarship from Ms. Osasu Show Foundation. I want to say a very big thank you to her. Thank you for the scholarship you gave to me. May the Almighty God bless you. You will never lack in your life. I say a very big thank you that Almighty God will always bless you and your family, that you shall never lack in your life.
I'm 14 years old. I schooled at Government College, Kefi. I just received a scholarship from Osasu Show Foundation to continue my studies. May God bless her and continue to bless her in Jesus' name.
I believe that I'm unstoppable. I believe I've only just begun.
We also know that we cannot alleviate everyone from poverty because we have tried. But what we must do is empower them so that they can alleviate themselves. This is our mission, and we hope that you will share this vision with us.